Jump right into it, eh?
Oh, yeah.
We just, we don't have an intro. We don't do that. We just jump right into it, man. So, Carlito!
Yeah. I got Manny across from me.
What's going on, man?
We're back, baby.
Double duty. We were doing double duty tonight. And we've got a very special guest, and I'll let you introduce our special guest.
We got my boy John here, McLennons Landscaping. Why don't you give us a little bit about yourself right now?
My name is John. It's McLennons Landscaping Design. I've known Carl for a little while.
Right. Long time.
One second.
Yeah.
We're missing something. Aren't we missing something here?
Well, why don't you just get to it?
Carlito wants, he's always asking our guests to sing a song for our intro.
Oh, yeah.
So is there a song that's in your head? Is there a song that was on the radio? Is there a song?
It's seconds.
Seconds.
One bar, one lyric, one something.
The last guy, he sang for
Oh,
a
an
minute
opera.
in Italian.
Get out of here.
Yes, he did.
But there's nobody outdoing each other. It's just
What, do you
for some
guys
fun.
sing?
We
Do you
used
guys
to.
sing?
I don't know how to sing, man. I have other qualities.
He's a hummer.
We bring it in. I started like a wimbo it, a wimbo it, a wimbo it,
Yes!
a wimbo it,
A wimbo it.
a wimbo it.
I love it. That's it. I'm fine.
There we go. We got John, and let's
It
get
shows
this party
personality
started.
to me.
There we go. Now, John, tell us a lot about yourself.
Oh, I've been in the landscape industry, over 20 years.
Wow.
Okay.
You older than us or younger than us?
I don't know. It depends.
I think
He's
I'm
young.
the oldest here.
Still? Okay.
Yeah,
20 years. So right from...
I'm 38. So
wow. So right from high school, right into digging.
Right from high school, yeah. So when I got into high school, I was about, 15, and my stepfather, wasn't my stepfather at the time, but mother knew a gentleman, and he had a landscape company, and said, you should get out there and you should really start earning your keep. So I said, okay, good enough. Summertime came, and that was it. He did a lot of maintenance and some small construction, and that is where it started for me. Really just fell in love with it. Every summer, I go out, he'd hire me back. When I got into, there was a couple years later in high school, when I was 17, 18, I didn't do it, but I was out of the area. Okay, I had moved, some of the family moved back to Newfoundland, originally from Newfoundland. But what I did in Newfoundland, as soon as I hit college, right, I said, well, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do?
You weren't cutting grass.
Cut grass. And fuck yeah, in that rocky old place, man. And the season was short, so it really didn't matter. It's not like I had to start up around here like March, April, doing cleanups and everything. Your summer really didn't start till late June, early July, so you're out of college at the time, and then you're done by the time September hits.
Right.
It is just done. Okay. So when I was in college, I did heavy equipment courses, things like that. So it's a little different. It's a little more involved out there, and I was ready to head out west.
So you did schooling.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
do that.
Did
they
it
still
help?
do it?
Absolutely.
Did it help?
Absolutely.
Really?
I was on my way out west. I was headed to Alberta with the rest of my friends.
So this is your early 20s?
That's right. I was about 20 years old.
Okay.
Right. And I graduated at 21. Okay. And I moved. I had seen family here in Ontario for a few years. So on my way out west, I stopped in Ontario, check it out. Well, by the time I got back to Ontario, as far as I'm concerned, the landscape industry had changed.
In what way?
It was bigger. There was bigger equipment. It wasn't just a couple guys in a wheelbarrow. They had excavators. They had dump trucks, right? I mean, I had my DZ. I was ready to go. All of a sudden, instead of heading out west, I was gold to these guys, right? Because all they had, guys on a shovel. They didn't have, DZ drivers that knew how to run the equipment, bring it out there, okay, and then get behind the shovel, start digging, start taking your lumps. I mean, I was driving a fucking dump truck.
The shovel.
Shovel's not so bad, but I mean, I'm driving a dump truck at, making $12 an hour or whatever. You know what I mean? It's fucking
20
bullshit.
years ago, it's pretty good.
Got into, found out it was a completely different industry, right? We're earth moving, we're bringing in large boulders. It was magical. It was awesome. So I decided, you know what? I started looking for a job around here in Ontario. And then I said, I found a guy and he had all the right equipment and everything else, and started there. It was a high-end company in Oakville. Worked my way up in there. Eventually, I was their crew leader stuff. I did about 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And then I was ready to head out on my own.
You felt like you learned everything you needed? Was it straightforward? Because I don't think landscaping is straightforward at all.
It's not straightforward. So I benefited greatly from this company. I was out, I had learned under old world stonemasons. Like I really had an opportunity to hook up with some serious players and learn underneath them.
So they had the old school guys there.
Yeah, no, they were rocking it. I mean, they were an amazing company. I'll give them that. You know, there came a time when, so they were a fantastic company, very demanding, right? So you're working 120 hours every 2 weeks, that sort of deal, right?
Because you got to maximize the days.
Got to maximize it, right? And then that carries over into the winter. And whatever, right? So you're out there. But I wanted to start a family. And I didn't want to be the guy.
You're 20 at this point.
21, right?
And you want to start a family?
Got hired. And then I got to...
Wow.
So I was there till I was 26, 27. And then I was with a girl, but we wanted to get married. I said, fuck, Well, the problem is I needed to make time for her and my wedding and my family.
Wow, you just really hit a certain, that's so important, right?
But you know what I mean? When it came down to it, I said, well, fuck, I put in all these hours, right? And I swore up and down after my college experience, I would never start up a company again. Forget it, right? But
why is that? But why is that the college experience? Why?
No, when I was in college and I was doing, my small business stuff on the side, it was, it was a grind, man. Right, and you're out
consuming.
You're trying to get clients and everything else, and it was
estimates,
tough.
Invoices, collecting,
and I wasn't used to that part of it. Found a girl, it's a good girl. She was supportive, and I told her, I said, look, it's going to be long hours, this and that, but at least I can be there for the important stuff. I don't have to call in and say, hey, or get the gears with taking a day off or an afternoon off or getting out. Heaven forbid you leave at 4:00, right? Forget about it. That was my experience. I said, I'm gonna start out. The following year, I gave him that year. I said, this is my last year, right? I wasn't an asshole about it.
26, 27?
26, 27. So I wasn't an asshole about it. I said, look, this is gonna be my last year. I asked my girl to marry me. This is it, right?
She said yes.
She said yes. She did. We're not together anymore, but but that's all good.
Sometimes those no's are a good thing.
That's yeah. So that's a whole
story.
John, it's a story of my life. Trying to run a business and keep your relationship there. It's a really hard juggle. Both of them are very demanding.
But I gotta ask you, John, why did you go into landscaping? Because I'm always amazed by certain trades that choose the big toys. Mm-hmm. Like to run a landscaping business, you need to have a lot of big toys, which means a lot of overhead, which means a lot of fucking money,
a lot of repairs,
a lot of theft, a lot of
fuel.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
When you got a carpenter who shows up with his DeWalt saw and miter.
Yeah, and maybe soccer mom van.
Yeah. So why did you go? Because you kind of fell because you went out east?
Yeah, I mean, I won't discount those guys.
We will.
There you go. I didn't realize what I was getting into. And I think that's where a lot of guys fall on their ass.
When it comes to landscaping, hardscaping?
And what's that?
Yeah. I went in and started my company with the mentality, if I can't afford it, I'm not going to get it, buy it. I'm not a big risk taker, okay? It was risky enough to get out and start.
Do your own thing.
And do my own thing. I wasn't going to go bankrupt doing it, because how long did it take you guys to get a solid client base?
I'm still working
on it.
Yeah.
It's over 30 years.
Exactly. Now, when you start up your own company, you got to know what to charge. I mean, all you're doing is hearing shit from.
But that's changing all the time. There's
And
no set
you don't know
cost
how
in construction.
truthful that people are actually talking about their numbers or their bullshit, right? They could be lying. They could be inflating. They could be...
Yeah, you don't know.
Some people don't even
walk
know
in.
their numbers.
So I had a friend ran a landscape company, and I started my pricing and everything sort of based on, through his guidance. Eventually, I figured it out. I was a couple years in, and this isn't making any sense, right? I'm not making any money, okay? Now, side table that for a second and get into the equipment. I didn't buy a piece of equipment until, minus trucks and trailers, I was 4 or 5 years in.
Wow. So you're doing everything by hand.
No, we would rent.
Oh, you rent.
Okay.
Now, once my rentals started to exceed what a purchase price on a piece of equipment would
This
be,
is brilliant.
right?
Then you
Then
made
you
the call.
go and you get that. Only after it starts to exceed it for a year. Like next year, I'm planning on purchasing another piece of equipment. I had a track loader for the year. You know what? I rented the damn thing for a year. I know damn well now I can carry it going forward. So a lot of my stuff, like the trucks and trailers and everything I have right now, they're all like paid off, whatever. So, but as soon as I'm able to, so I'll pay those off, keep up with the maintenance, save for the next. It's all about budgeting, guys. I mean, to be completely honest, knowing your numbers and knowing that the client will pay for your services instead of just walking around going, well, $12, and then they, raise their eyebrow at you, oh, fuck, $10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, you got to go in confident, know your prices, set up a budget, and that's how a lot of guys do. But the guys that don't have a budget, don't have anything set up, don't think about it, the risk take, the ones that just, the cowboys that just fucking run out there and give her, they don't last too long.
No.
A lot of show.
So what do you do? Like summer's only so long, so you only have so many months to do landscaping, and then there's winter. How do you carry that?
Well, you guys were making me wait outside there.
We apologize for that.
We thought that was a worker.
But the studio's getting a little bit busy. That's why. Sorry about that.
and the snow, right, as light as it is hitting me on my forehead, and I'm trying not to get the box of cookies I brought you guys wet. And there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm thinking, we got to start another job next week. I mean, our season runs pretty tight. We're out there if we can in March, and we're headed always first full week of December. Guaranteed.
That far?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Really, huh?
We usually have carryover. Like, I mean, half my next year is booked and all that stuff, right?
So if someone's trying to get a hold of you, they should do it 6 months to a year prior.
So usually I get an email come in. Like right now, I'm taking appointments for January to come out, do a measure, as small as it is.
Design.
Design.
That's the big one, right?
Don't you like the clients who were contacting you last month to kind of sneak one in before the end of the year?
Oh, I had one on Monday, man.
Oh, really? I was being facetious there, but okay, they're
I
there.
had one on Monday. You want to hear that one?
For sure, I want to hear that one.
So she calls, and it's going to take me 3 weeks to get there, right? So I said, look, I can't get there till a certain date.
You're closing up the season, right?
Yeah. We're just busy. We want to get shit done
For snow.
And I got, again, people still call. They want these drawings. You got to pump out the quotes. You got to finally get out there. It's in Toronto, a bit north of here. We go through the whole rigmarole, walk around. What do you need? What are you looking for? And I mean, this is a sizable job. I'll just tell you, she has a pool, concrete all around the pool, and doesn't want a fucking pool anymore.
Nobody does. Honestly, how many people I've been talking to want to get rid of their pool?
Wait a minute. This is Monday this week or
It's Monday? No, Monday this week.
Monday this week.
It was
And
2
she's
fucking
got a
days
pool
ago.
and she don't want a pool anymore.
she wants
She
it
doesn't
filled.
want a pool anymore. She wants it filled in. She wants, whatever, right? And I mean, her misconceptions about what it takes to fill in a pool, I mean, whatever, okay?
She's been watching TikTok too long.
A whole other, yeah. She said, well, when can you start? I said, well, you haven't even given me a budget, and I haven't even given you what I think is a good estimated budget for this, right? I said, a conservative budget, $50,000 to $70,000, right? Period. I said, think about it. She, looks at me like I have 10 heads. Well, it's not going to be 70. I said, well, I guarantee you right now, you're going to have between filling in the pool and getting rid of all this shit. That's a $15,000 to $20,000 job there. She had a deck in there, all the fencing. It's a big backyard. And then she said, well, okay. And I could tell the type of person she was now. So she would push and see how far she could push, right? She said, okay. Well, let's just say those prices are okay.
The challenge is on.
All right. It's all right, no problem. I said, we would start next year. So, well, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean next year? Can't this be done this year? I said, yeah, fucking right, it can be done this year. I said, if you can find a company to come in and start filling that bastard in, I said, you go right ahead. And I said, I will continue on my end to do your drawing and get some plans together and whatever else.
Get your permits.
So when are those going to be done? You can give me like next week? I said no. And she gave me this angry look. And I said, well, what do you want from me? I said, we're closing up our season. I said, I'm not going to touch this for another few, I'm not going to pick it up. And I said, I'm going to do you a proper set of plans. And I said, from those plans, I can start putting numbers down. I said, I already gave you a rough estimate of what it's going to cost. I said, I guarantee you.
It could be higher, it could be lower.
It wasn't going to be lower. I said, it can be higher if you want, depending on how far we go. Because I know we're going to get moving on this design. And then all of a sudden.
Changes. Right?
Oh my God.
Every single trade.
I know. David Bowie should have been a freaking contractor. Is she related to you, or did she save your life?
Who, this lady?
Yeah.
No.
So then why does she think you're going to fucking drop everything and get it done for her right away?
That's how she operates.
That's how a lot of clients operate.
Yeah. But I mean, you can't be pushed around. You had to go in. You had to set your expectations. This is how I work. This is why you called me. This is what I'm going to do, and I will deliver every fucking time.
And you're being honest.
Yeah, and if there's something I can't do, I'm not going to tell you that I haven't had issues on job sites or had to go back, and I've had to go back and do repairs, right? I'll go back even after the warranty.
It's Mother Nature. You don't know what's going to happen, where the water is going to take things out, and washouts.
In my industry, or what we do, it's all about preventative measures. Mm-hmm. There is no perfect. It's preventative measures. However many preventative measures you can put in there, the better off you are.
We control the give, right? Well, I called you about a month and a half ago, and I said, hey, can you...
A month and a half ago?
A month and a half ago.
Say that again.
New language, I'm starting.
Yeah.
About a month and a half ago, and I said to the customer, I said, you're not going to see him until next year. And that was the first thing I said to him. I said, can you take a look at it this year and then, book it for next year? I don't think people realize that how much work there is. Call before you dig. You can't just dig a hole. There could be gas lines. There could be electrical down there. Such a long process, like weeks of waiting for the city to show up and inspectors.
Well, you're March to December. You're the beginning of March if weather's pretty good to the beginning of December.
Yes.
And that's the window of opportunity. So I get it. Clients are basically at home. They start hearing the birds chirp and they, you know what? We need a landscaper out here. Yeah. But you've already spent the previous summer and fall and winter booking this entire season. They just have to understand that.
Yes, and it's hard for me to see certain projects fall through your fingers because of timing, but it is just the way it is, right? And I have to accept that, and they have to accept that. A lot more clients are becoming aware that they need to call earlier.
And where are they getting that awareness?
From guys like you showing up on the job site.
Absolutely. They've called the year before, right? And we've told them no. It's impossible timing for us. Eventually they figure out that the only guys that they're going to get are startups. And I tell people, look, everybody had to start somewhere. I did. Someone took a chance on me. Thank God.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of chances. I've seen people hire people that were beginners in, say, interlocking. And in 2 years, you've got little pockets, separation.
You need to have the experience to back it up. What I'll normally do for a client is I'll say, look, let me quote it. If you're serious, I'll throw out some numbers. If they say, okay, I can live with those numbers, depending on what you show me, obviously. I'll take that and I'll say, okay, look, here's my quote and my drawing. Here's what we're going to do in your home. Look at what I've given you as far as a quote. Like, it's a detailed breakdown of absolutely
Trees,
everything. You'd be not just like trees, plants, not even just unit pricing, but I mean the amount of gravel I'm going to put in there, depth.
Oh, you're breaking down per yards and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that way I can say, look, and I have my labor separated. And I say, look, here's what, forget the labor, piss on the labor, okay? Throw that away. Look at all the materials that are going into this. Take that price. Now compare just that price to this other guy's quote. Now I even say if you want to take my labor, tools, equipment, whatever it is, if you think I'm inflating costs, because, again, to get back to your point, I got to pay for this shit for the entire year. Like even if you took it half, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. The other guy's price doesn't make sense.
So who's lying? Are you lying or is he lying?
Yeah. I'll let them make that decision.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, look, and that's it. I mean, I got a client base. I got jobs you can go see. And, I don't need to make excuses for my work. It just kind of is what it is. It's the only thing that I will...
But you'll defend it.
Absolutely.
How long does it take?
Hang on a second. Before you even ask that question, what's the name of your company?
McLennons Landscaping Design.
Got it.
How long does it take for design?
Depends
a
on the
week,
scope
two,
of the project.
depending on how you're on the tools.
So if I sit down and I start putting together a drawing, if we're doing front and back, it'll get done in about a week, right? If I could sit down solid and iron it out, about a week to get done. Now, when I come out and see you, whether I can start that drawing right away or not is another question. And then I only have a couple hours each evening to I'll take the site measurements, I'll put the house model and everything together, get all the property measurements out, and then I'll sort of set it aside. That way all the stuff that I needed fresh in my head is done, and then I can come back to it.
It's a grind, man.
Yeah,
it is.
Because you guys are doing 12-hour days, right?
Well, this is the thing. This is an easy job. It's
one of the hardest trades, man.
Heavy machinery, heavy equipment,
heavy material.
How easy or how hard is it to find guys to work with you?
How many guys you got working for you?
It's the worst. So we got 3. We used to be bigger once upon a time, but I've found over the years, the more equipment you get.
Yeah. I know where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? That's not true. We got 3 guys, and we get a lot done with the equipment and what we have. But I've actually started sub crews. Well, I shouldn't say plural. There's sub crew, right? That I can take, and I trust them, and I can give them certain projects.
Parts of the project.
No, just certain projects. I'll still project manage, absolutely. But I will take my design and I will bring them to the site and I will say, look, you price this out. Okay? I've already priced it out, whatever. So you price it out, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't want to have a guy under my thumb trying to get something done and squeeze his ass, because then I'm just going to get some shit. Okay? And then the client's going to be mad and he's going to piss off somewhere. And I got 2 job sites open, and that's just not what I want. So I let him price it, whatever he's comfortable. I know I got enough in there for whatever I need. And then if there's something he hasn't thought of and he needs a little extra, chances are I've thought about it and I have that extra for him anyway.
What are you looking for in guys? And what has been your failure with guys in landscaping?
Drugs. No. Yeah, no.
Seriously?
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, some
specifically
guys,
talking weed?
No. I had 1 year. We had 3 guys taken down by opiates and shit. One that you died last year.
Is it because
holy shit?
Is
really?
it because of the pain of
of
the job, like back pains, knee pains?
No, I think it's just whatever the hell they got going on in their lives.
It's their own personal demons, right? Young guys, old guys, or what?
Young guys, usually young guys.
20s?
Old guys, yeah. The old guys are pretty good. I had some guys. You remember Chad?
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Chad.
Chad was awesome. Chad retired with me, man. He was with me for 6 years. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome guy.
It was great.
He was the shit.
How old's Chad?
Well, right now, I guess
He's not that old.
He almost say he retired at 65, man.
Wow, time flies, man.
You keep forgetting you're 48.
Yeah, like honestly, like it was like yesterday. So
Wow. So guys, so what is the bad stuff? So I guess there's some dependencies.
So, I know you guys heard it before. The guys want, big wages for fuck all. The guys want to be able to leave the job site whenever they want.
Really, they ask that?
Oh, yeah.
They'll ask you that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to leave the job site whenever I want.
Yeah.
Sir. Really?
wow,
What the fuck?
Not-
Would you ever do that?
never.
No, and you wouldn't. I just out of respect
Yes.
of another person or respect of a job that you have or you're wanting to get or anything else. They want to be able to just...
That's the question? That's actually how it's formed? I
Yeah.
want to be able to leave the job site whenever I fucking want?
I need to go home every day for lunch, or I need to do this every, Tuesday. And look, I'm flexible, man. Like I get guys, one guy different times a year. He has to leave at on Fridays like 3:00, right? And it's legit.
Okay.
And I said, look, yeah, that's fine, right? And then the other guys, standing around all, huffy. And it's like, well, if you guys had something legit that you had to get to,
You would consider it.
I would never turn it down. If somebody calls in sick, I will never question them. I wouldn't want to be questioned. I mean, I know the fucking difference. Okay. But I just, you can't. What are you supposed to do as an employer? Well, the guy calls in sick. Well, fuck you, you're an asshole.
Honestly, I've been there so many times.
Back to landscaping.
Yeah.
It is a hard job, man. It is a hard trade. And you've been at it for 20 years now?
Yeah, I've been at it for 20 years.
So you've seen your share of shit, either from hiring, working, suppliers. How
Yeah.
hard are the suppliers? Are they good, bad?
Suppliers are generally good. Yeah,
There's respect there.
there is. Yeah, no, suppliers are really good. Sometimes, depending, you'll go in and, your regular guy doesn't have something and, everybody has the place they like to shop. And you go in somewhere like up the street and be like, oh, I'm looking for a yard of this, or, you got a layer of this, or I need whatever. And they're like, oh, well, what brings you fucking down here today? We don't see you and everything else. I'm like, this is a fucking store, right, man? You want to sell your stuff, right? Like, who gives a fuck where I've been? You want to sell your wares, don't you? If a client came up to me, I wouldn't be like, well, where have you been? I'd be like, yes, sir. I will gladly lay that patio for you. So there, you do get some of that. For the most part, they're very good.
Is there a lot of turnover with the employees, the guys?
I'm gonna say yes and no.
Okay.
So we'll call it 10 years. Okay.
On your own.
On my own, right? Just as a round number, 12. 10 years on my own. I've always had a guy with me that has been a 3 to 5 year guy. Okay.
That's a magic
And what
number.
changes that?
Sometimes career change. Maddie. Maddie.
Yeah, he went to the army.
Exactly. He went to the army, right? He was with me for 5 years. Chad was with me for 6 years. He retired. It's just different times. You get and a few other guys. The guys I have now are a 7, a 4, and an oddball guy just this year, right?
I'm picturing these jerseys and they're wearing these numbers.
That's a good way to look at it. And they have my 7-year guy will probably go. He's getting a little older, right? He's talked about not wanting to do this much anymore. But you always have guys underneath that want to
Step up.
yeah, take the reins. There's a lot of guys that do want to learn. They have a respect for the trade. They have pride in their work, and that's the big thing.
That's the guys you have.
Yeah, they have pride in their work. They come to you like your kid comes to you and is like, look at this shit.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah. And when you have those guys, I mean, the world's just a better place. It makes owning a business a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception of landscaping and hardscaping? Like, what did we...
Well, I always assume that landscapers make tons of money.
Yeah.
Like I always hear,
Yeah, because we're vacationing in the winter.
That guy's got all kinds of wintered off. They've got so many.
All the machinery's all brand new.
Yeah.
It's got spinners and neon lights on it.
Yeah. And those are the guys that, are going to be out of business in a couple of years. Or their father bought it for them. It's all about, some people shop image, but you figure it out pretty quick.
You're
right?
a business to stay.
Yeah. I mean, we've been around. It surprises me all the time, but we just keep, I just said it from the beginning, we're just going to keep putting out quality. We're just going to try. Honesty all the way. Build it. Even if it costs me money, I'm just going to, I don't want to say the other thing, but, but we're going to make sure everything's 100% for the client. But you asked me about misconceptions about landscaping. What was that?
Yeah. What do people...
We always assume landscapers are making tons of money.
Yeah. And,
They've got good tans, lots of money, and they're winter off.
Yeah. So they think we're vacationing. There isn't a lot of money in landscaping. There are guys that are doing it the right way. Okay.
And what is the right way?
Don't get me wrong. They're industry giants, right? Even the industry giants, though, are only running 3-4 construction crews, 2 and 3 man construction crews. But then there's a whole other maintenance side that we're not going to get into. I'm not into maintenance. I'm just into.
But there's a lot of money in maintenance too, right?
There's a shit ton. But I mean, it's a whole other world outside of what I do.
I did that for a summer. Got a nice tan. Maintenance.
Yeah.
I can see you in your Daisy Dukes right now.
No. Carlito has this tendency to fucking make up shit on the mic.
It's only about Manny, though. I think it's funny.
People think that anybody can do our fucking job, right? Honestly.
There's a thought process behind your job, man.
Oh, so I could take a rock and just drop it in the mud and it's good.
Yeah. Well, what do you
Not
guys?
a base.
Yeah, what do you guys? You're just going to fucking fill in some gravel and whatever. Put
a tree
stone
around
down.
it.
Yeah, I mean, fucking how hard can it be?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's get to that.
It's fucking hard.
Let's talk
not
about
even
the
hard.
bad jobs and the good jobs.
Yeah, all right.
Let's start with interlock. What makes a good job and what makes a bad job interlock? Like one of the things I've always kept in my mind is a lot of people say, "Oh, I use limestone." I don't believe in limestone.
Let's put it this way: there's some things we don't do anymore, right? With any industry, it's the practices were just bad. Okay, when we look at something as simple as a patio, and somebody goes, "Well, fuck, man, I don't need a big thing. I just need a 10 by 10 here for my umbrella, and I want to drink my beer, and that's it." I say, "Well, look, man, I got to look at your soil conditions, where we are. Where am I going to send the water? If I build this 10 feet out from your house, well, that doesn't exactly match your grade. I got to put a retaining wall over here on this side. And then you got to think about how you're going to build the damn thing."
Well, and how much the base is going to be, how much gravel. For
Yeah.
the soil condition.
So I mean, you could have. If we're looking at a new build, it's all that compacted junk that
Clay,
they have in
crap,
there.
shit,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right, and that's not getting wet. So you got to do some soil amendment maybe, or you have to run a filter cloth under it, and then throw in your clear gravel.
Does the
that
filter
sort of
cloth
thing.
actually make a difference?
Filter cloth makes a difference.
Just for contamination and weeds, or is there more to it?
Mostly, right? Mostly contaminated. Nothing to do with weeds. I'm tired of hearing that.
Weeds will grow on top of
But
everything.
that's how
and
they
interlock.
marketed that fucking thing that way, right?
They do, but it does the opposite. So you can put down, and I don't care what anybody says. You
I
put
like this.
down weed barrier cloth, whatever the hell it is, and then put down some stone over it. And I'm talking like river rock, or some mulch. When the weeds, whatever the heck it is, hits that fabric, how would you germinate a seed?
Oh
Through
my
fabric.
God.
Okay? Or wet fabric.
I never thought of it
No,
that way.
I've seen it all the time like that, done that way. And I'm like, that's why these landscape fabrics don't fucking work. What's the difference
No,
between that fabric and regular fabric that you would use to actually germinate a seed, man?
Well, there is a place for it. French wells behind armor stone.
Yeah,
with
under the
wheat
ground.
French wells, French drains?
French drains.
Oh, I was like, French wells?
I call it a French well.
but under the
Sorry.
ground.
Yeah.
They're under the ground, and they're to keep from the soil migrating into the stone or vice versa. Right?
Contamination.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do, some guy wants river stone down the side of his house, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 3/4 crush stone. I'm going to compact that down the side. I don't need to lay fabric, and I could just put river stone on top of that.
So for interlocking stone, what is a typical depth for crush? Like I hear some guys say 6 inches, some guys say 10 inches.
So 6 inches, basic rule of thumb.
That's
of
minimum?
You want 6 inches of base aggregate. Now, I mean, there's a whole other, you can put like, if you're building on sand and you want to put fabric down and then put a drive grid in place and then only put like 3 inches of stone, and there are different ways to get to that end. But yeah, basic rule of thumb, put your fabric on the base of your excavation, okay? Fill it up with we use clear stone, okay?
Not crush.
We don't use crush, right? We use clear stone. We still compact it.
What's the reason why you use clear over crush?
Yeah, we found over time, the crush, you get more, going back to these preventative measures. So when we're using crush, if the guy's compacting, the guy's going with the vibrator here, there, up, down, crossing, everywhere else, and he happens to miss a spot or only hit one spot once, and we brought it up in like 3 or 4 layers, you get a chance of failure in there somewhere.
Wow.
Okay?
With the crush, but not
I
with the
just
clear.
screwed
With
up.
the
I just did 12 inches at my farm.
But if you went with a clear stone, so and it all depends. I mean, if you're gonna like beat that shit up with a roller and get some proper compaction equipment in there, give her. I mean,
Is it also
I'm
to
a
wick the
landscaper.
water away?
yeah.
Keeping
so
it clear?
Yeah. So there's a whole. We can do permeable paving, and that works perfectly.
Do you like permeable paving?
I do.
They look like shit, though.
Yeah.
Unless there's a new one that I haven't seen yet.
There are some new ones that you haven't seen,
And they're pretty good?
and they are very nice.
Really?
So what is it?
And they are expensive. But they
I
are
like
very nice.
I like it a lot because of the whole process behind it, the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
I agree with it. But when I first launched it, I was like, dude, man, I'm not a woman, but women love wearing heels.
Yeah.
And that's what I have a problem with permeable fucking pavers, right? Women are going to fucking hate those because you can't walk on them.
Well, you can. The gaps are a little larger, but what they do is they use a 1/4 inch or 1/8 chip stone now
To fill it in.
to fill it in. So it's usually like a granite, just a small granite chip, and you fill those in. And it works really well, actually.
Do you like putting pavers on concrete bases?
I would love to put a paver on concrete
Every job.
day. Every job.
I've seen you do it a few times.
Yeah.
So it's a better way to do it.
It is the ultimate way. It's
And then
concrete.
What's the cost? Like, what are you doubling the base cost?
Think about it this way, okay? If you called, and there's a bit more to it, but if you called a company to get an exposed aggregate driveway put in, okay, they use proper concrete, whatever, what would the cost difference be for them to pour that
True.
3
Very good
inches
point.
lower?
Yeah, very good point. It's the same price.
It's, minus they don't want to wash or whatever, but yeah, if you're getting a brushed concrete and you just want your brushed concrete pad 3 inches lower to put the interlock on top of it.
I'm European, so I like cobblestone. I like stones I like little tiny stones on roadways. I like all that shit. But I'm also
Walkways.
European, and I like concrete. But
Yeah.
when I first saw concrete base and then pavers on top of it, I'm like, that makes fucking a lot of sense.
Okay,
to
but
me.
even
That's-
though you're doing concrete,
Yeah.
you still have to put sand on top, don't you?
I stopped using sand as a fine grading base.
Really?
I did. It's what you want to use. Okay, like there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't corrode the stone. It doesn't corrode if you're using a concrete base, it doesn't. But if you're using it in a patio application, and you're not like sealing up those edges, like let's say you're putting pavers on a porch, okay, and you're not doing, so you do your flagstone surround and get your coping pieces there. Well, that's all nicely sealed. You do a nice sand bed, put the interlock in. Sand's not going to go anywhere. But if you start getting moisture in there, that sand's going to run.
Becomes like a river.
Yeah.
Wow. I
So-
never knew that.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so we started using high performance bedding.
And what is that?
So that's almost like that 1/4-inch chip. It's like a screenings, but it doesn't have like all the fines, and it's
So it's not limestone.
No, we use it's like a granite chip, like it's a dark gray whatever, right? But it doesn't have the fines, and it's not going to break down on you. And you can use it under interlock, because a lot of interlock now, say if you use limestone screenings, that avoids warranty because it does start to corrode.
Really?
Because the limestone screenings holds the moisture.
Yeah,
And
because
then
I felt
the
like a
paver's
water
sitting-
bed feel in some
Yeah, if you ever
parts.
lift a piece of interlock, it's wet.
It's wet.
Right? Period. But if you have a clear, breathable stone underneath it,
Wow.
I remember seeing, I was at a landscaping function or something like that, and Permacon was there, and they were doing that concrete base. Then they had this black material. I can't remember the name of the black material, and they were using that instead of
Gator
this-
base.
Is that what it is?
yeah, it's probably gator base. Or, yeah.
No, it's a mixable pour material.
Oh, okay.
And that's what basically gave it the cushion, or actually strengthened the actual pavers, and then also help with drying, wet, dry, that thing.
Yeah, so it's like it probably would have been like just a granite chip.
But it was very, very expensive. That was the problem with it. But what I was interested in is that it will last forever. It's not going to move. It's not going to shift. That it won't deteriorate. I was like, well, then it makes no fucking sense. Like, just use it then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is the life expectancy of an interlock driveway or walkway?
it should last you
Life.
a lifetime.
Okay, I've seen people's jobs go bad after 2 to 5 years. Like I'm talking about your car's parked somewhere, it's indented.
You know why,
into
right? It's about
The base. The base.
the base.
The base.
That is true. So there's a couple of different ways you can look and see what's going on. If you show up at a job site and you're looking at and everything has sunk all at the same rate, chances are they just threw a bunch of shit in there. No one compacted anything. It all sank at the same rate over time and whatever. If you start to get the big curls, okay, that means there's not enough base in there, and what your subgrade is wet. It rolls like mud, right? And that's where you get that look.
It moves.
Yeah, you get too much moisture in there, and you got to get in. Don't let anybody say that, we're just gonna like repave it and pack it again and whatever. You got to dig that shit out.
Yeah,
You know,
you
it's
gotta
just
get all
like
that-
You have to start again.
you have a soft spot, and it's not gonna go away.
And the
Not
guy
even if you put lime on there and dry it up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
calcium.
You can do some soil amendment and that stuff, right? But I mean, you still got to dig out the slop that's there, drop that in, let that wick out, and then give it. And then you want to do some fabric. Then a driveway, you might want to do some drive grid. Drive grid, just a
on
quick
the outside,
explanation.
on the outside edge.
Yeah, you go right up.
Yeah.
But I mean, the drive grid it's almost like a netting, and what happens is when you're driving on gravel, it pushes and moves. That drive grid at the bottom locks in those clear pieces and keeps it from
I think I've
spreading,
seen you
right?
use it in an armor stone on retaining walls. You rolled it back and then you built up on top of it. And
Yeah, so it's a geogrid.
Okay, sorry.
And it's almost like I would describe it as you do tiebacks with like a wooden retaining wall. And that's just to keep it locked in. The weight of the materials in the back keeps the wall, whatever you're putting in, from pressing forward. And we do a few other things as well, but that is that function.
what are you seeing as failures in landscaping? Like, what is the typical thing that you see?
It's that wave, that paving wave, the base.
No, but it could be out of armor stone or planting trees. What are when you show
There's-
up at 10 jobs, out of those 10 jobs, what is
There's a misconception that every job is the same, that you can compact with anything. If you put a piece of armor stone in the middle of the yard, and then you build a pit around, and then you backfill that, I mean, there's a lot of engineering behind it, behind retaining walls, behind, underneath the interlock. You have toe loads, for that are at the base of the wall, and they'll kick out if you got
A lot of water flow or
yeah. I mean, so it's just understanding
tree weight, whatever.
Yeah, understanding
Well, it's
your
earth.
environment.
You have to understand the earth, right? The mother. I mean,
Yeah.
she pushes one way and it's going to affect another way.
Why does it always have to be Mother Nature?
It was never called Father Nature. Or
Pretty soon, it won't
Father
even have a name.
Earth.
It'll be
It's going to be Gender
Nature.
Earth and Gender Nature. We're not going to go down that path. I wanted to ask you, John, how do you feel about all the fake grass and the turfs that
Yeah.
people are asking for?
I don't mind it.
I actually like it. I don't like the price point, but I like it.
Yeah, so it's the same price if you're going to put in an interlock pad. The application and pricing is the same.
What's the life expectancy?
I don't know. I mean, well, life expectancy.
I mean,
of the
UV
product,
damage.
It depends on the product, but I mean, you get a decade out of it for sure. I mean, there's different grades,
Yeah.
right? You look at interlock. You could have interlock that looks like shit 2 years later after you put it in. It doesn't need to be sunken down or improperly done. It's just the brand and the quality of it.
Pitted or it's something.
What's your favorite interlock?
Company or product? Like
Both.
I'm a Unilock guy. They've always seemed to be cutting edge. Everything that's happening over in Europe and everything that was getting made over in Europe was getting pushed over here. Now they're starting to set up over here in North America and pumping out the same stuff that they have over there.
Unilock is a European company?
Yeah, so they have a rich history, but the gentleman's from Canada, I believe. Bryant was his name, the owner, but he bought in over in here. That was where he brought it over. It was like when they started bringing it over, like clay
Croatians
roofs and shit. Yeah, fucking Croatians.
Yeah, they dropped us off in truckloads.
I was going to ask you, John, don't you love it when clients ask you to use a stone that is not friendly to Canada's weather?
And what would that be?
There's a blue stone from India. Is it blue stone or what's it called? So this stone is from India. India.
Okay.
Put it in my backyard in Toronto.
Well, they're building.
You did.
They're
that
building
what it
temples out of soapstone.
Blue stone, I don't know.
I don't know the name of it. I just know that. Yeah. There's
Yes, there is a lot of stone coming over from India. Okay, and they're again just different manufacturers. They're different qualities. There's something you don't realize, or maybe you don't know. A lot of the Canadian made stone, right? Not made, but like the stuff coming out of the quarries here, like the Wyertons and all that.
Aramosa?
Right? Okay. Well, the Aramosa is a finish.
Okay.
Right? Well, Aramosa is a Wyerton stone that has been cut on 6 sides. They may blast them, they may not, right? For that finish, bush hammer, whatever. So, and that's fine. The jury's still kind of out on that because with the Aramosa, sometimes you'll get that flaking.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's a Canadian stone. You've taken it out of the earth, and like these old ass porches you see with the stones popping, and you got a big piece of flagstone that's flaked off here and flaked off there, and it's letting moisture get into the joints, and then that gets under the pad, and it rots the pad and bursts everything apart. And then the client comes to you and says, "Can you just repoint a few of these?" And you're like, "Come on, man, no, we got to rip the whole damn thing out because the stone is a piece of crap." The India stone, I haven't had an issue with. It's a sandstone, so it doesn't get that same flake, right? So it's not like that other sedimentary stone where it just compacts in layers and all of a sudden you get some moisture in there and it starts to pop. It's just completely different.
That's the thing. It's the winters, right? It's the water. It's Mother Nature again.
So,
Yes.
are you saying Mother Nature stone versus man-made? Man-made is better?
I mean, depends on
The brand and manufacturer and the product, right?
but the stuff coming over from India, depending on what it is, the color will stay. So think about it.
Well,
If
they got
you-
the best coloring, right?
Well, if you have a sandstone and you start to rub it, chip away at it, it's still going to be the same color, right? The fading's not a factor there.
Okay.
Unless you get into some of the, and they have some granite finishes, but then they also have some flat finishes, just like the Aramosa. I'll call it Wyerton just as a general. You leave that stuff out for half a year, it's gone down 2 shades.
Yeah, it'll fade.
Like
yeah.
it's gone through the laundry, right?
So are you saying we should stay away from Canadian stone?
Well, one, it's fucking expensive, but I mean, but yeah, it's gonna, unless you're paying for that patina. Yeah.
Why is Canadian stone expensive? It's here.
It is here, but I mean, it's all labor, right?
To get it out.
Labor, trucking, yeah, all to get it out. I mean, the stuff coming over from India, it's their labor is nothing.
I think it's like $1 a month.
Whatever. I don't know what
Not
the
even
hell
making
it
any
is.
jokes.
Well, you know
It's
those new metal
crazy.
dimple inserts that they're putting on all the sidewalks now?
Yeah.
They're either made in India or France. Look at it. It actually says made in India or made in France right on
Wow.
it. Because I guess it would be more expensive to make it here. We have plenty of steel, don't we?
We do.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
But I could totally agree with you on that. That yeah, it's more expensive here because the labor is here more expensive to get it out
Yeah.
of here and get it to market, right? Do you like pools?
I love pools. I love landscaping pools.
Do a lot of clients ask for black line pools because that's my favorite?
What is that, Manny?
They don't.
It's black. Instead of a blue liner, it's black.
Doesn't that track more heat?
And that's a bad thing for a pool.
Well, I mean, in the summer,
So you
want it
waste
to be
less
cool.
energy to heal, to heat.
to heal.
Sorry, to heat.
You guys got a spa going on.
I just like the look of a black line pool. That's all.
Yes, they do like the darker liners, right? And I get a lot of the darker exposed aggregate look requests. We don't install pools. That's a whole other,
Game.
yeah, as far as I'm concerned. But what it does is it brings another element to your landscape, like putting in a fire pit, putting in vertical,
Right.
just all these different elements. When you walk into a backyard and
Ambiance.
yeah, well, let's say the entire backyard is just one big flat patio. I was like, all right, cool. I don't want to cut the grass, but it's kind of boring, whatever. Once you take the furniture and shit out of it. But you put in a pool or maybe a recessed hot tub. You put in a fire pit. You put in some lighting. You put in some tall greenery.
You could do that for 20 grand.
No.
Hey, can you start next
Well,
week?
trees are expensive. Like, let's get into trees. Like, I've
Trees are
looked
expensive,
I've
my
looked at
friend.
prices for fruit trees and just normal trees.
Yeah.
And at 6 feet, you're spending $1,000 for a tree.
Yeah, I mean, depends on the tree. But I mean, think about how long that tree has been, how many times that tree has been wrapped. The larger ones, mind you. How many times did they have to, plant it, re-burlap it, right? It's gotten a little bigger. They have to trim it, everything else. So every year
They're doing that, so they're always taking
Oh
out.
yeah, so there are always different grades of tree. That's why it's harder to find the more mature, taller trees, right? And why they're just ridiculously expensive. Same reason why
Same with the shrubbery, the bushes, and everything.
Boxwoods.
So the boxwoods is the same. They trim them every year.
But I always-
if the
I
ones
always
that
find
don't
that
get sold, they
boxwoods-
get repotted. So they go to a bigger pot, whatever. Like all that is, the nurseries had to pay for that. It's not just one and done. They don't just blow their load and that's it. They got to come in. What they don't sell, they need to replant.
Why are Japanese maples so friggin' stupid expensive?
That's a good question.
And why do they take forever to grow?
You answer your own question.
I know.
It takes a bit of time, and they need to look after them, and they need to trim them, and whatever else. And they're popular.
They're beautiful in the fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you are right. They're tiny.
What are?
I mean, I got hornbeams that I
I
put
love
in.
hornbeams, man.
Beautiful,
The red ones, the darker ones.
just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you can get if I'm going red, I'm gonna go for like a beach or I don't know. I mean, there's a few, right?
What's your least favorite tree? I've got a love hate with sunburst fucking locusts, man. Because they grow quick.
Yeah.
The canopy's nice. It's filtered. But in the fall, you get all those little stupid fucking leaves, man, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I hate crabapple trees.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
another one.
All right. I mean,
Your favorite?
Let's just be honest. Birch.
I'm a cypress. Birch
Yeah.
next. White paper birch.
Yeah, birch.
They don't last long, though.
Black spruce.
Well, they get diseases a lot, right?
Yes, yeah. So, and there's nothing you can do about it because of our, Canadian laws and whatever else. But black spruce. That's a Newfoundland tree, so it's just a little closer to my heart. But yeah, the birch is beautiful as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I love white birch.
What are the trends? What are you seeing? What's going on the last 5 years or something that people are asking for? in landscaping?
Modern,
Very modern, eh? They're doing a lot of contemporary stuff.
a lot of clean lines.
Armor stone big?
Lighting's really coming in. You
Yeah.
know, armor stone, we have, it depends, but we've been doing a lot of clean, guillotined armor stone work. And that's where that's going, right? If you do have armor stone, it's just nice, clean applications.
You guys are chopping it, or you guys ordering it?
No, order it that way.
Really? Yeah? I've never seen that. I want to see that.
Yeah, I don't even give the client the option anymore. It's the
Really?
most expensive. You can get it clean, skidded, ready to go. And I mean, you can lay the stuff like brick. But
Wow.
you just say, look, here's the cost. And that's it.
Well, you guys were talking about fake grass. Is that becoming popular because people don't want to do the maintenance, or is it that no one can maintain their grass?
No one wants to pay for it right now. And people are afraid they're that one guy that in the fall, he's going to have this like jamming front lawn. And they're going to think, well, am I just going to look weird with this like brand new lawn while everybody else is
It's a stigma right now.
Exactly. But I mean, and to get back to a little more, go with a lower grade. You don't go with the best grades, because the heat in our summers, what it does is it makes it very pliable. So the lower grade stuff that may feel a little tough to the touch now, and like, you know, in here, say, if we had a sample, put it outside in the summertime, beautiful. Feels just like grass.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
That makes
But
sense.
the higher end stuff, the stuff that's really soft in here to the touch, once you get outside, I mean, like 30, 40 degrees. And it's plastic, essentially.
Quicksand.
It's a different feeling.
Nice to
altogether.
lay down on.
I don't know. It still feels weird. I've seen it, and it makes a lot of sense. You don't water it. You don't cut it. If the dogs poo on it, you can still clean it and wash it out. It always looks green, but you're right. Then your one house looks like a friggin' postcard, right? Because everybody else's grass looks like shit.
Yeah. So people they want it, but they're like,
Maybe in the backyard. Put it in the backyard.
Exactly.
How about radiant heat driveways and walkways? You see that coming out now? I've been noticing a lot of it.
You know what? I haven't. I mean, it's always been a thing, but it's not something that my clients have looked for.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it, but I when I see it, I just think of it. It's incredibly wasteful.
Not if it's on geothermal.
No, you're still setting up to a boiler inside the house, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to set up a geothermal just for your driveway because you're going to do your driveway. You're pumping hot water outside into the -degree weather. How more wasteful can you get? I get that. Okay, we don't have to put salt. We don't have to shovel. I get all that, but
that's a huge thing there too. There's no fuel. There's less maintenance for yourself. I don't know if you have water, like you could, if you have a boiler, then you can run rads in your house. You could do,
if you already have a boiler set up, it makes sense.
Right?
But if you're just doing it for the first time, then I find it very expensive. But
yeah.
So why don't we tell everybody what you guys do in the winter months?
Some guys take a laugh. I'll visit a couple of job sites a week and go like take my site measurements, trudge around in the snow, come bring back a quote, whatever.
No plowing for you?
I used to. I got out of it. The first year that I set up a budget that I didn't have to plow, it was amazing, because what a awful bunch of work that is.
It is.
Like Landscape Ontario now is trying to start this movement but insurance for landscape companies that do snow removal is ludicrous. It is just robbery. Okay, nobody wants the liability because you have these people, these slip falls, whatever, right? So it's getting harder and harder for companies to actually do snow removal.
So pretty soon, no one's going to have anything
Well,
plowed
that's
or
part
shoveled.
That's part of the problem. So they're trying to even get all the clientele on board to approach these insurance companies and say, look, your prices are going up because their prices are going up. You know, we need to take a stand somewhere because it's all wasteful. I talked to my insurance guy, and, you know, because say Muskoka is affecting everybody else's insurance prices this year. Like one fucking place.
Who
affects across Ontario.
Who started this?
Landscape Ontario.
Why the fuck would they start this?
About the insurance?
Yeah.
Well, because the insurance rates are skyrocketing on landscapers that do maintenance, right? I mean, let's say the guy that plows this place. I guarantee you his minimum amount of insurance that he has to carry, it doesn't matter if he has 1, 2, 3 places, is
12 mil more?
Well, no, but I mean, there's a certain number of like liability. Like we all carry like a 2 million liability, whatever. But what I'm saying is that costs him $6,000 plus a year.
Jesus.
That's just saying that you do snow. That's not like for his trucks, for his business, for whatever else. Oh, you do snow?
That's the premium just for snow?
Yeah, and that's conservative.
Well, I used to do high-rise window cleaning, and I had to have $12 million coverage. It cost me $10,000 a year to clean windows on the side of a building.
Yeah.
No one ever got hurt, and the only person on that rope or that Bolson chair was me.
There is a bit more that can happen. But I mean, you're not even looking at driver history or anything. At that point, you're just saying, oh, you do snow? Well, anything can happen. So here, have a stick, and you know where to put it. Right? I mean,
what is WSIB on landscaping?
It's not bad. It varies for everyone. Mine went down this year quite a bit. It went down the last couple of years.
What does
You
it
never
start
had
off?
You had never had a claim?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I encourage, like, guys, if somebody gets hurt,
Somebody gets hurt. That's why it's there.
yeah,
And what is a typical back pain?
back,
Or
shoulder,
tax
you
pain.
pulling. There's just pulling something, right? So it's usually we're lifting and something happens, or you squish your finger, or whatever. I say, look, there's sorry, man. I gotta go. What the fuck are you saying sorry for, right? I mean, it doesn't affect me. We fill out the sheet.
So what is it,
Doesn't
9%, 13%?
No, I think now it's like 3 or 4.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's like an office worker.
You know what I heard is there was a follower that's been listening to the podcast from Australia, and he DM'd me and he told me about their version of WSIB. When you retire, you get a percentage of everything that you put in over the years.
Wow, that's brilliant.
And I was like, isn't that motherfucking brilliant?
Yeah, because in basic construction for you and me, it
Where's your
varies
pension?
between 9
Where's
and
your-
13%.
Exactly. So what is where all that money's going in there,
Yeah.
and then you retire, and it just sits in there. That's not fair, especially if you don't have any claims, or even if you have minimum claims.
It's true.
That money should go back to the parties, the contractors, the trades that put it in there.
That is a good point. And I mean, my experience has always been positive.
Desktop P45 and T5.
That's his Alexa. Wasn't it? That's spooky.
Google.
Or Google. Oh, we just did a podcast.
Yeah.
What the hell? Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So
What are you looking for? Are you looking for guys? And what's the attitude you're looking for if you are?
Guy that wants to make a difference in the industry, a guy that wants to learn, a guy, honestly, that eventually wants to have his own company.
you want to teach.
Yeah. I assume we all do, but you want to just give your information, give it to the next guy. Again, when I first started, and we didn't get too far into it, but these old cranky ass,
They don't want to give it up, man.
stonemasons,
They don't want to give it up.
They took me and they're like, this is good. I got the, you're a good boy, this, good boy, right? Okay.
Wait a second. They weren't Portuguese, were they?
No, they're-
Italian.
Manny, you lose this time.
and you learn, and they teach you, and they're proud of you, and they teach you to have pride in what you're doing and to do it properly, even if it takes a bit extra time, and teach the next guy. And you earn your way to laying some flagstone, mixing, the cleaning, the whatever, chipping, and all of a sudden you're laying, and he can have some wine on his lunch break. You know what I'm saying? I can't have no fucking wine, but he can have his wine.
What do you hate about the industry? And what do you love about the industry? Whatever way you want to take it.
I love that the industry is always changing for the better. There's more education out there. And you know what? It's the leaders, the guys where we're getting the product from and everything. They're really taking the reins and saying, look, we need to teach and best practices, and we want our products to last and everything else. And, but yeah, just constantly changing, whether it be, like I said, modern, now is the way we're going. Eventually, that's going to flip over into something else. You're going to want more fire features is a big one.
What about grass? Lately, I've been seeing this like tall grass.
Well, tall grass go into that whole monochromatic planting, that commercial planting look, right? That modern build where you can there's a little bit of texture in there, right? And that's what makes it look so good. You got grass. It's got the plumes. It's everything. It's against this gray brick wall. It looks really nice.
So what do you hate about the industry?
I mean, same thing everybody hates about,
Collecting?
the industry they're in, right? No, collecting's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it's 99.9%. The people can't wait to give you the final check, shake your hand, and then they can give you that final thank you. That's what I find anyway. You always get the odd one, right? It takes a little longer. What I don't like about it, is is some stigma there. People think you can do things for cheap, and to get back to an earlier question about, if someone shows up for a patio. Well, if you were to show up and if somebody calls you and says, hey, I want some tile in my bathroom, and you show up to the guy's bathroom, and it's like, I don't know what the bathroom looks like in here, but it's like a bathroom out of an old building. Like, man, we got to do some stuff before we do your tiles. The guy's like, whatever. You're just trying to soak me and get the hell out of here. I'll find a guy to do it, right?
And he will.
And he will. You are 100% right. He will.
But he'll call you back eventually.
Maybe. Not that guy.
He'll call another guy.
But yeah, so you want to educate the client mostly, and then let them make the best decision that they can. Right, and that's how I approach it.
So if someone's looking to have a project done, they need to be 6 months to a year ahead.
Yes.
Shouldn't rush the project.
Never.
Unless they're going to go out with a new, fresh upcomer or someone new in the industry.
New guy.
That
There's some
doesn't
good new
mean that
guys.
you're going to get quality work or something that's going to last for a lifetime. Where do you see it going right now?
Bigger every day. I think there are more pool companies that have landscape division. I think you're going to see more industry, okay, that we deal with. So, I mean, it's all the crossover, right? So right now, the biggest guys in the industry do everything. They do the lighting, they do the irrigation. They haven't gotten into asphalt mostly yet. Asphalt has been that one.
It's just it's the black sheep, redheaded stepchild. Is that
Standalone,
really?
man.
Really?
But they got, you got concrete guys that get into softscaping, right? Some of the biggest and best out there. They get into softscaping, design, interlock. Some driveway companies are, some get into interlock, that sort of thing.
What about Jewelstone?
Jewelstone?
Do you like the stamped concrete?
I'm not a.
I fucking hate it. I'm
not
sorry.
I'm not a concrete guy. But the stamped concrete, I hate. I enjoy the straight wash concrete, right? Nice smooth look, modern.
Peastone.
I enjoy the exposed aggregate in moderation, mind you, but I still think it has its place. Stamped, I just don't like it.
Stamped concrete is the laminate of concrete.
Wow.
Like
well said.
the really cheap laminate of concrete.
Yeah.
But it's expensive.
It's expensive, but
Yeah.
it looks like shit. And what drives me crazy,
It's a Band-Aid for me.
when I see a new job done and it's stamped, and all of a sudden it sits there for a week or two with all the plastic on it, and they're just protecting it and whatever, and they just come back.
And saw cut it.
Yeah,
Fucking
they
hate it.
saw cut it, and they find the one fucking stamp crack and they go off of that crack, and it's cut. It just. What the fuck? It just makes no sense to me. But mind you, I've seen some really good stamped limestone concrete. But it makes sense because it's straight, so you can saw cut it and it looks okay.
That's right.
I don't-
That's
You don't get.
You want a
don't get too
flagstone
much
look?
crossover.
Do motherfucking flagstone.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
Hey, or they want to stamp like a coping and then back that up with the exposed aggregate or something. Switch it up. That I
Sure,
don't mind.
that, but not the whole thing.
Do you see yourself going to, like, I don't know where your business is growing. Do you see yourself doing rooftops? Like, people are putting greenery on rooftops. They're putting grass. They're putting.
They are. No, you make a good point. I got the last person that called me for a rooftop landscape in Toronto. 'Cause I don't work in the city. It's too. We can't mobilize.
No parking. They
There's
don't
no
make the roads
parking.
for trucks.
It's the commute. We can deal with the parking and whatever else. The commute kills us. I mean, I pay my guys. They show up in the morning. I'm going to pay them to sit on their ass and ride in. I mean, you can't not. I would want to. There's a bit of premium the farther we go. And I don't just add like 10%. Like I think, okay, well, this job's going to take us 2 weeks. And I got 13 hours of travel time in those 2 weeks. Well, I have to add that into the bill.
To the labor. Of course you do.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
Yeah, I mean the customer has to pay for that. I can't pay for that. I gotta protect myself against something that's my fault, fucking up on the job. You know what I mean? But yeah, rooftop I don't get into. It's normally in Toronto, so I just don't come out. I'll recommend a couple of guys that I know do rooftop and that can handle the scope. Right, that's the other thing. You. But I have more than you can chew sometimes, right? The size of these projects. I've turned down $5 million projects. Wow. I can't mobilize it. It's not.
Well, it might cost you and being sued, right?
Well, we're just not that company.
Yeah.
To desktop P45 MNT5.
Alexa's joining us.
She on the bill?
I don't know what the
Yeah. So I'll recommend a larger company, somebody that can handle it, and just say, go for it.
Are you guys generally all friends, or is it like the roofing industry where they all hate each other and everyone's trying to do a better job than the other guy, or they're critics?
There's a camaraderie coming back. There was a camaraderie years ago when I first started, and then in the industry, as I started up my own company, there was still kind of everyone's giving each other the stink eye, right, at Tim Hortons in the morning. But then it slowly changed. I mean, we all congratulate each other on Instagram. You guys talk about Instagram a few times on here, but we're all checking out each other's stuff. What's the next guy doing? We're all giving each other pats on the back.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, no, there is a great camaraderie amongst the trades, and it's nice. It's nice to see amongst our trade. I don't know about you guys, but
No.
Yeah,
you guys still mean mugging at the stoplight.
You know what? I just want to see some respect in the industry for each other. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think it'll eventually come through. What do you want to be known for if someone's looking to do landscaping? Like, what is your go-to? What is the company that, like, what do you want? What does your company really want to do or do?
You finally got it out of there, huh?
Now what you think? I want to be known for a company has integrity and is honest, and will get the job done, no matter what you want. That's it. That's all I want the company to be known for. We'll design whatever you like. If the people don't have confidence in you, I mean, forget it, right?
You can't climb that hill.
Yeah, it's just maintaining the integrity of your build, following through. Even if you put your foot in your mouth. Oh, I said I was going to do that? All right.
Yeah, it better be in the contract.
Yeah.
Well,
that
you
never
know
happens.
what? I always go ahead with it, err on the side of caution for myself, and just, I'll honor. If you say that, I'll honor that.
Manny wants to know if a van is appropriate
No.
for landscaping.
Let me correct you. I did say when we were talking about that when it came to hardscaping or landscaping, a van is a useless vehicle. I said pickup trucks are the choice of vehicle for landscaping and hardscaping. I did say that.
What's your opinion on that?
Have you ever loaded, maybe you have you ever gone into the stone yard and said,
Load my van.
Just jimmy that hole. Just get it in there. All right?
I'll leave you with that, right?
It is the one trade
John.
that definitely needs pickup trucks, okay? Definitely need pickup trucks. On that note, John, so where can we find you? What's the website?
Website is McLennons Landscaping.ca.
How do you spell that?
McLennos.
.ca. And email?
Email, you got John at McLennonsLandscaping.ca, info at McLennonsLandscaping.ca.
Perfect. And you guys on Instagram?
We're on Instagram, McLennos Landscaping Design. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Everywhere.
We're everywhere. Like most people or trades. My website's outdated, so you want to find some recent stuff. Always check out the Instagram and Facebook.
IG.
Yeah, it's
There we go. Do you have any more questions, Carlito? You always have 2 or 3 more questions towards the end there, but we're coming up on 90 minutes.
That is the cue for.
Thank you very much, John. Been great to meet you and listen to your take on the landscaping industry, man.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Actually, a very positive one this time, huh?
Very positive.
Beat her out. Get us out of the TO.
416
Oh,
TO, baby.
and thank you, Mark, for letting us put the podcast
Of
up
course,
here.
Skylux.
Skylux
Love you
Roofing.
guys.
Check them out. Hire them.
Yo, 416. Yeah.